A military coup took place on the 26th of July in Niger. The military took power and Niger's president Mohamed Bazoum, who was a staunch ally of the West, was ousted. Now, while the West is aghast, not everyone is hostile to the coup in Niger. The junta-led Burkina Faso and Mali are in support and have declared that any foreign military intervention in Niger would be considered a declaration of war against these nations as well. Now, there is also a rising Russia sentiment in the region. There is a lot to discuss. For more, we're being joined by Mr. Sadiq Abba, who is a Nigerian journalist, writer and academic, joining us in from Paris. Welcome on board, Sadiq.
Thank you for our invitation.
Right. Sadiq, France, Italy and Spain, they've announced evacuations from Niger for their citizens. I just want to start off with you on this. What's in store in Niger now that the coup has taken place?
No, as you know, France decided to evacuate these ressortissants from Niger because they are afraid that the situation will become bad. As you know, there was a demonstration few days ago and the embassy of France was attacked by demonstrators. And there is another demonstration tomorrow on Thursday. And France was very afraid that the demonstration and the military junta supporters will attack France ressortissants and France interest in Niger. They decided to, like a prevention, to evacuate all the ressortissants and the European resistance who want to go. But as you know, many France decide not to go out from Niger because they say they are not afraid about what is happening. People are not against France citizen in Niger, but they are against the French government, who is against the junta and who is continue to support President Bazoum by saying the coup d'etat is not completed. Every people see the coup d'etat now is very completed. The junta have the all power situation, and the now because of this misunderstanding between France and military junta, they decide to evacuate because they are afraid that people will going to punish the French citizen in Niger.
Right. Sadiq, now we have to shift focus to Mali and Burkina Faso. There has been a big statement which has come from these two nations. They've said, and it's been a joint statement, that any military intervention against Niger will be considered a declaration of war against Burkina Faso and Mali. Now, seems like the new junta has got backing from the military governments of Mali and Burkina Faso and Guinea. Talk to us about the implications of this. What happens if there is any kind of military intervention from the West? How will these nations respond?
No, these nations say they will send troops to support the junta. They will send troops to Niger. As you know, Burkina Faso and Mali are the border as the neighbor of Niger. If they decide to support Niger, they will send troops, and the troop will simply across Niger border to go in Niger to fight with junta against the troops of ECOWAS, of international troops. For me, it's kind of saying that we, ECOWAS, Economic West African Community, was against the junta of Niger. We as Malian and Burkina Faso junta were against ECOWAS, were against France. We are the friend of junta of Niger. We will make like a coalition to support a military coalition, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali, to fight against the junta. I think it's this kind of demonstration making pressure on ECOWAS and on community international not to send troops in Niger. Maybe this kind of attitude will be received by a large part of population in Niger, because even the people are not supporting the junta. They are not accepting foreign troops to come to Niger to fight against the junta. Because they say, as you know, Niger faces a security issue, terrorism issue, more than 10 years now. Nobody sent troops to support the Nigerian population to fight against this terrorism, but now they say we will send the troops to support democracy. People are not very convinced in Niger. That is an opportunity, and they will receive what Burkina Faso and Mali decide to do.
Right. Now, Sedek, Western nations were working with Niger against West African extremists, which you just spoke about briefly earlier. How will Bazoum's overthrow impact the West? Because Bazoum was he was well allied towards the Western nations. With him not being in the scene, how will it impact Western interests in Niger?
As you know, when the situation between between Mali and France collapse, the relationship between Burkina Faso and France collapse, Niger became the only one very strong supporter of Western Union in Western country in this area, in Sahel area, fighting against democracy. And even now we have more than 1,500 military, France military in Niger. And there are troops of Italy, there are troops of Dutch, of Germany in Niger. These all foreigners support Niger and take Niger as a country, a key country to fight against terrorism. Now, if the situation change, they have to change the way to fight terrorism. I think for France and other European, Western countries, this coup of Niger is very, very bad news for the engagement against terrorism in Sahel, and something will be changed. Now, when Junta come definitively take the command of Niger state, I think they will ask France troops to go out, and if this happen, it can be a big issue for fighting against terrorism in this area. As you know, even now, when Western and national troops are fighting against terrorism, the terrorism is continue to take many areas after Sahel. Now they become to Benin, they become to Togo, and we are afraid that they come to the Gulf of Guinea.
Sedek, now, when we talk about Western interests, we can't not talk about this next aspect. The Junta reportedly said it was suspending exports of uranium to France. And that is definitely one big Western interest that the West has in Niger. Now, this uranium was used to fuel nuclear reactors. What impact will this have on the West?
No, it's very important. It's so early to evaluate the impact very precisely, but it can have an impact. As you know, Niger is the main furniture of uranium to France. In France, the nuclear power take about 25% of electricity which is provided. And all this electricity was provided by the uranium of Niger. Uranium of Niger is very, very important. It's the key important with France. I think if now France say we will try to have another partners for having uranium, but the uranium of Niger, the stopping furniture of uranium in Niger in that context, with the Ukraine crisis, which energy high become high, it's very important. I think for France, this is a very bad news, because they have to have a new partner, to make a new agreement with new partners, and they lose this uranium furniture from Niger. As you know, there is two I don't know, in the filial, the French company of nuclear, which one last name is Areva and the name now is Orano, have two companies in Niger, in the north of Niger, in Somaïr and Kominak, and they have a permit to make a new a company, a new company. Now everything is stopped, and this is very, very catastrophic for France economy, right. And for France independence is in energy and providing electricity.
Right. So bad news for France. And Sedek, just one more question I want to take from you, and we'll take it very quickly. We're running short of time. There has been a repeated Russia reference coming up again and again. Some Russian flags have been seen here as well. Can we rule out a Russian hand in the things that have transpired in Niger recently?
No, there is no Nasha hand in the coup. But as you know, Nasha is around. He's in in Mali mainly, and he's trying to come to Burkina. For Nasha, this coup is an opportunity to come to Niger to have an offer. As you know, many Nigerians are disappointed by the supporting of France to fight against terrorism. They say the supporting of France didn't give much result. Right. And now Russia can take the opportunity to say, well, now, okay, right, now France is going, we can support you in fighting terrorism, and we will be better than France in this fighting against terrorism. This is kind of thing can happen in the context of coup d'etat and in the context of fighting between the Niger Junta and France and the rest of the international community.
So it's definitely a big loss for France, and it's a big opportunity for Russia simultaneously, that they can make the most of what is happening in Niger and give hope to the people. Thank you so much for joining in, Sedik. This was Sedik Abba, who's a Nigerian journalist, writer and academic, who joined us from Paris with all these insights.
Thank you.